What's up and welcome to my review of the Imperial Dropship versus the Rebel Scout Speeder. Releasing in October of 2024, this set was given set number 40755. It has 383 pieces as well as 6 minifigures and a bonus minifigure for the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars. It has the nice blue anniversary box art, and when we flip the box around to the back you can see the build in all of its action and having the rebels take on the stormtroopers, as well as showing off some of the different features that are in this set. Starting off with our 7 minifigures, you get 3 Imperial Stormtroopers, the QTKT droid, as well as 3 Rebel Fleet Troopers. Starting off with our 3 Stormtroopers, who are all identical as always, except for their faces underneath their helmet. But I really don't have much to say about these guys because I've voiced my opinion on them for a long time and we've been stuck with this version of the Stormtrooper for quite some time now. Overall, I think it's a solid minifigure. I think the printing's really good, but what throws me astray here is definitely the helmet. I really do not like the dual molded helmets for the Stormtroopers. I think they make them look way too big and bulky and out of proportion to the rest of the minifigure. If it wasn't for the helmets and we still had one of the older styles of helmets, I think these would be perfect minifigures. I'm just personally not a fan of this style of the helmet for the Stormtrooper. Next, we have our 3 Rebel Fleet Troopers, who are pretty much all the same outside of the actual faces and skin tones of each character. And I think Lego did a really good job with them. Looking toward our previous version, I think it's a big improvement with all of the updated details. One thing I will say, I think that if we had dual molded legs on our Rebel minifigures, they would have been so much better. It would have added some much needed detail in the lower half of the minifigure, and I think dual molded legs would be the perfect way to do that. Nonetheless, I think these are some pretty solid minifigures and definitely a great one to be army building. Next up, we have our QTKT Astromec Droid, and I think that this one is an amazing droid. With a very unique color scheme, we rarely see pink used on Astromec Droids at all. I believe this is the first one. We also have a ton of very detailed printing all over. There's some really clean prints featured on the front, and then as you move around to the top of the head, I especially like this kind of like caution tape pattern with the black and yellow detailing. I think it really pops against the pink color of the droid, as well as all of the different white highlights. Now, one complaint that I do have is that there is no printing on the back of the Astromec Droid. I feel like that would have really made this a perfect minifigure. It just seems very bare from the back, as we see there is the printing on the back of the head, but not on the back of the torso. It would have been very cool to see, but nonetheless, I think this is a great minifigure, and we also have our 25th anniversary plaque that we got with all of our other 25th anniversary minifigures. Now, as we move over to our builds for the Rebel Scout Speeder as well as the Imperial Dropship, I want to start off with our Rebel Speeder. There's a lot of detail for this being a battle pack build, and Lego was able to capture some pretty nice angles using some fun techniques. We also have a couple of stickers that were used to add in some detail, like this one in the front as well as a couple on the sides. And either side of the ship was built up with these nice sloping pattern, which does allow it to have a pretty fun shape. Now, in my opinion, the weakest part of this build does come in the back with the thruster area. Moving on to the turret up above, it just doesn't look so great in my opinion. But other than that, I think that the shaping and detailing used within this speeder is actually very good. Moving on to our turret that sits up above, which you can kind of move around in a 360-degree angle as well as fire off your stud shooters on either side. We also have the main turret in the middle, which does have a full range of motion, being able to move up and down, and then you can swivel the turret all the way on either side. Now, there's actually a pretty surprisingly spacious interior inside of this speeder, with places to fit 2 of your minifigures as well as one up on the turret. You can actually fit all 3 of your rebels into the speeder. And once they are sat down inside of the speeder, it does look very good. I really love when Lego does make it so you can fit all of your minifigures into the set. And once the speeder is filled up, it does look very good with all of your minifigures crammed in there. Except for the minifigure up on the turret, I feel like he's left too open to any attack. There's nothing protecting him, so he can just get flicked off just like that. Other than that though, I think that this is a very nice build. Now, the main play feature for this portion of the set is that you can actually remove the cannon and then use it separately. And personally, I don't really see a reason to do this because I think it looks even worse when it's off on its own and this guy has just sat up there controlling it, as well as I think that the Rebel Scout Speeder itself just looks a bit awkward without the cannon on the top and having this big gaping hole in the back. It's definitely a fun play feature, but it's personally just not for me. But to put it back on, you just put it right on top of those studs and then it clicks right into place. Now, as we move on to the Imperial Dropship, the build that I was very excited for, but actually ended up being a little bit lackluster. Now, overall, I think that the shaping and design that was used for this ship is actually very good, and there is a lot of different details here, especially with the Imperial insignias that are put on with stickers on either side of this ship. And you do get this nice windscreen piece that I think looks very good. However, mine came in insanely scratched. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but it did just look pretty bad, and it's kind of unacceptable to get this from Lego. Now, you do have your stud shooters on either side that fire off, well, they should fire off. I don't know why this one isn't, and I will say that they are pretty fragile. They're not really held in place as well as they are on some of the other sets, so they do come off pretty easily. But as we move along to the back of this build, we have our main plate feature that hides in the thrusters as well as the troop deployment system. And the thrusters are a very nice kind of inclusion where you can move them up and down, but it really is kind of just a small novelty when it comes to this set. And you can fit all 3 of your stormtroopers in this set, the first one being in the cockpit, which is actually pretty spacious, surprising for this small size of this set. You just sit your stormtrooper down and then close them in. You do have to push his hands all the way back or else you will not be able to fit in the cockpit, but it does look very nice once he's in there. And as for the main play feature when it comes to this set is the actual dropship portion. You pull the small plate out of the back of the ship and then you have a spot where you can sit 2 of your stormtroopers on either side and clip their weapons also. Then once they are loaded up, you just clip them into the back of the ship and then come in with that small little Technic piece. And while there's not a lot of room for them to be sitting in the back, it does look pretty cool when they are there, and then to deploy them, you just pull them right out and the clip comes off. The deploy feature is pretty fun, and then once you're done, like I said, you just clip it right back in, and I have to say that your stormtroopers do look pretty cool set up here. Overall, I think it's a solid build, but definitely does leave some room for improvement. Now, the biggest strength with this battle pack is that you do have both of the factions to oppose each other, and it is a lot of fun to put these guys against each other with the rebels and the stormtroopers. I have to say that they do look pretty cool sat up next to each other.
Now, as for my closing thoughts, I think this is a solid set. However, I have one big issue. It's the same issue I had when this was originally leaked and was rumored going around. It should have been 2 separate battle packs, an Imperial battle pack and a Rebel battle pack. And I stand by this as one of a big hater of the super battle packs, but this one kind of just nails my point. You're paying $40 for essentially 2 $20 battle packs, but you lose a minifigure on each side. To explain, if this was 2 separate battle packs, an Imperial battle pack and then a Rebel battle pack, they would be $20 and they would have 4 minifigures each in them. However, in this one, you're spending $40 for your 2 builds and only getting 6 minifigures. I understand this has the exclusive droid in the set as a 25th anniversary minifigure, but I don't really think that that is applicable to this argument because either way, this would have been included. Now, yes, Lego may have upped the price like $5 for that minifigure to be included, but still feel like it was kind of a cheap out when it came to this set. And to see that Lego is now going crazy with these battle packs nowadays with our 327th battle pack coming out in August, going to be costing $45 in the US. Crazy. This one's not quite to that degree, but still, I think that we kind of got cheated out of having 2 separate battle packs, the Imperial battle pack and the Rebel battle pack. I think it would have been so much better. People could have chosen what they actually wanted the army builds and not, let's say you wanted to build an Imperial army and then you're just getting stuck with a bunch of Rebels as well. It's just kind of unfortunate, and it would have definitely been better for the fans for their bang for their buck, as well as just a smarter thing, in my opinion, to do for Lego, because I think they definitely would have sold more, as this was not the best selling set of 2024 if you're looking at the sales from Lego. Now, I know that data is a little bit not insanely accurate, but it was toward the bottom of the list. But I still think that it is a pretty solid set, and I would recommend picking one up if you're a fan of the original trilogy. I don't think it's a great set, and so I think it is one that you could probably pass on, but I feel like it's one that might be hard to get your hands on in the future, it being a Lego Store exclusive. And also the downside of it being a Lego Store exclusive is it's very, very rarely on sale, because it's not going to be at Amazon, Target, or Walmart where they have those 20% off pretty much yearly on the Lego Star Wars sets nowadays. I feel like every time you go and look, unless it's a brand new set, you can get 20% off, but that's not the case with this one because it's only at the Lego Store. But at the end of the day, I think it's a solid set. I think it definitely had a lot of room for improvement, and if I had to give it a ranking out of 10, I think I'd give it about a solid 4 or a 4.5, which isn't bad. I think it's a pretty okay rating given this set and what you actually get. And that's going to do it for this review, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about this set and if it's one that you own or one that you plan on buying in the future. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.